What is that ultimatum the White House is talking about, and what happens next? Is it yet another war brews overseas? Arif Halaby is a national security analyst and conservative strategist. He's up late with me live tonight here on the Final Five to talk about it. Hey, welcome to the show. Good to see you tonight.
Hey, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
As you watch all of this play out, I want to get your take. Do you think the U.S. should get involved in this conflict?
Well, we've already positioned at least two of the big B-2 bombers that are carrying 2 bombs each, 2 of the 30,000-pound bombs each. We've positioned those into the region. It's a 30-hour flight, so it's a long flight to round-trip flight. So we don't know if they're going to be positioned in country or in the region rather to drop the bombs or come back. Are they just there as an intimidation tool? We're not sure what's happening next, but it's going to be serious. We had a guest on last night from the National Security Institute at George Mason University who thought that the president was leaning too heavy into diplomacy by social media. Some of the tweets, some of the Truth Social posts that he had been putting out. He is playing coy, as I think presidents should. You don't want to show your hand when you're talking about maneuvers right now. Do you think the president is taking the right tack on this? Yeah, I think the president is. Here's what happens. Every good president, you can go Democrat, Republican, it doesn't matter, always has opposing views or should have opposing views in their cabinet. I think George Bush, one, could have learned a little bit from this. Certainly, the Iraq invasion could have had a little bit more of a counter message. And President Trump isn't any different. He has both sides in his ear, talking to him, learning different ideas of strategies. Look, when Israel bombed Iran, they did so in a multi-pronged approach, right? This goes back over a year. If you take a look at the impacts to Hezbollah and Hamas and the assassination in the protected area of Tel Aviv. Think of the Georgetown, of Tehran. In the protected area of Tehran, yeah, you had assassinations being taken out. This is very important. They blew up the university, the nuclear research university, our MIT or Caltech. That's what was included in this bombing sorties that took place this last week. I think that is an interesting approach, meaning they are not looking to negotiate. This is not a conversation to try to bring them back to the table. They have eliminated an entire regime minus the leader. When you mentioned George Bush, you were referring to Bush 43 leading up to Iraq, correct? Yeah, leading up to Iraq. Of course, Desert Storm, there was the ultimate decision, yeah, with Norman Schwarzkopf, but George Bush II, if we like to call him 2 and 1, of course, or Junior, George Bush II shouldn't have had Dick Cheney as really the only whisper in his ear leading to Iraq. And now most conservatives, certainly most Republicans, will tell you that was a mistake, that war. There has been some efforts on Capitol Hill right now, and to be fair, a little bipartisan. It's bringing together the likes of Thomas Massie and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on the same line. But there's some effort to try to advance some legislation right now. It seems like there's a little more pushback, but if there is a clear and present danger, as the White House seems to insinuate there might be here, do you think Congress should get involved? I think the War Powers Act is always sitting at the table and should be discussed. Part of the challenge that you're going to see President Trump have is Israel is moving forward with or without them. Israel has 2 different capabilities, a 3,000-pound bomb that it can deploy and a 5,000-pound bomb. Those are large enough to get through, some would say 20, maybe 50 feet of hard material or soil, but you're not going to see anything like the 30,000-pound. I mean, think about that for a second. 30,000 pounds of a bomb that can go down, 200, 300 feet, maybe more. They're going to utilize 2 or 3 of them right after one another. Then they'll circle back with another B-2 bomber. They have the U.S. has control over the skies, really Israel, but the U.S. as well. So they can do anything they want. If it decides to blow up the underground facility in Fadu, they will. Here's the other part that's important. I will promise you, no direct knowledge, but I will promise you that they are negotiating a $100 million package for this Khomeini to leave. It's just who's next. That's the problem. We've eliminated many layers deep, dozens of leaders in both the military and the political structure, and including the religious structure. So who's next? Who's going to fill that gap? That's a scary proposition, as we learned our lesson in Iraq. In Iraq and also in Afghanistan too, as well. After the pullout there, and with the Taliban back in control. Yeah, Afghanistan is a bit of a different animal because you have two different countries in one. You have Kabul, which is the center part of the country, educated, generally speaking, Western leaning. And then you have the rest of the country, which is as backwards as you can imagine. When you hear men and women return talking about 7th century living, that is the rest of Afghanistan and some of the borders of Pakistan as well. But certainly the evacuation there is a black mark on American history. Certainly the Biden administration should be ashamed of itself, and men and women, somebody should go to jail. I don't know ultimately what we will decide as a nation and how we will write that history book. But the impact in Afghanistan should have been a little bit more strategic, maybe a year, maybe a 6-month project and out. But George Bush and Dick Cheney decided that wasn't going to be the case.
Yeah. Arif Halaby, thanks for joining us tonight. Let's keep the conversation going sometime. We appreciate it.